people like Shulgin or yourself, I know that there's obviously a basic science aspect to it, but I imagine you're also interested in consciousness and psychotherapeutic aspects of these compounds. And it's such a strange idea to be so involved with this area of research in the way that some people in the DEA are, to dedicate your life to the synthesis of tryptamines and phenethylamines, but not value them.
Yeah, takes all kinds.
It's sort of a catch-22, where in order to really understand them, you have to have tried them. But if you've tried them, it would be considered to interfere with your objectivity as a researcher.
Yeah, that's an old story, isn't it?
Do you think that really is a catch-22, or that's just kind of a... Because, if you researched music or something like that, no one would ever hold it against you for having listened to music.
Well, nobody held Aldous Huxley's experiment with mescaline against him either. That was before drugs became evil. So there's nothing that's pure evil. So I have a lot of friends who got into this field as a result of tasting psychedelics, though. So we have a lot of productive scientists today and neuroscientists. I gave a talk at the Serotonin Club meeting years ago, and these were people that just studied serotonin. And I started off by saying, I would guess that there are many of you in here who got your interest in serotonin research either as a result of experimenting with psychedelics or having friends who experimented with it. Solomon Snyder is one of the most famous neuroscientists there is. He used to have LSD parties on the weekends. So, brilliant people are prone to experiment. I have a friend who didn't know what he wanted to do in life, and he was an undergraduate, and he took LSD, and a big neon sign, he said, literally lit up and said, be a psychiatrist. He went into psychiatry. He's a successful psychiatrist. So I had another student who came to me. He had a degree. He came here a couple of years ago. He had finished a degree in chemical engineering. I think he was summa cum laude, really bright guy. But he decided to try a psychedelic. I didn't ask him what it was. I suspect it was LSD. He said, but I got a source that I trusted. I read up all the literature, everything I could, and I went to this music festival feeling like there were people there that would have lots of experience. So if I had a problem, there'd be somebody to help me out. So he said, I was sitting up on the hill above the music festival, and when the drug effect started, I looked down at the grass, and the blades of grass turned into little people running all around. He said, then I sunk into the sod, and the next thing I knew I was up in the air looking down at my body. And he said, and then I had this powerful experience. It was a mystical experience where this light came to him, and he perceived it was, something really important. So he said, so I decided I want to spend my life researching these. And so what would I do? And I said, well, you're a medical student now? He said, yeah. I said, well, you've got 3 more years of medical school, and then you do a residency. By the time you get out, there may be a place for you to do this kind of research. Thank you, I'm so relieved to hear that. I said, if you'd come 5 years ago, I would have said there's no chance. But now the landscape is changing quickly. So there's another fellow who's extremely bright. He had a degree in chemical engineering, summa cum laude. Now he's going to go into medical school, become a psychiatrist or a neuroscientist of some kind. A really bright guy whose career has been diverted over to studying psychedelics.